Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the latest awards presentation. This time for colour. Josh is all lined up and ready to talk to us and share all this amazing imagery. Plus, we've got a couple of winners as well lined up to chat to. So, without further ado, let me get the intro rolling, and I'll be back in a tick with Josh. Well, I reckon everybody's going to be awake now.
That one had vibes of a little AC/DC at the end there, Rob. A little
Yeah.
TNT.
Yeah, well, I thought I'd pick that one, especially for you, Josh, because I know, well, like me, you like your guitar music, don't you?
Oh, yeah, big time. There's less and less of it, so you have to appreciate it.
Exactly. I remember the first time we ever spoke, we spent hours and hours and hours talking about our favorite bands, didn't we? And
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Most of them come from the UK, so.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think we spent quite a conversation about Iron Maiden, I seem to remember.
Yeah. They're still good, actually, still torn.
Yeah, I know. What they 60 odd or whatever they are now.
Things have calmed down a little bit. But
yeah, they have. Yeah, not quite as wild as they used to be. But anyway,
yeah.
we digress. Before we get on to colour, because obviously we'll have a quick chat about that before we introduce our first guest and our first winner. But just let me run through. There's a few things to catch up with. Today I released the top 100 for Tiny. So if you haven't seen that on the website, then do go and take a look at that. Again, some amazing pictures in that. And anybody who's on that list, you should now have your digital badges. I did email everybody this afternoon, so check your spam box if if you're on the list and you haven't had those, and do make sure you share those on social media and tag us in. So that's Tiny. That's out now, the top 100. Then we're actually going to do the announcement of winners next weekend, because I've got to try and tie in Michael Sneddick at a time that he's available, and next weekend works for him. So we're going to be doing some quick fire announcements. So one this weekend, one next weekend. So look out for that. I'll put a time up. It'll be Sunday lunchtime, probably 1ish. Thereabouts, but I'll sort of tie that up with Michael and get that out in the next day or so. So look out for that. So if you are in the top 100, do make sure you get your original camera files and everything uploaded to the website quickly, because obviously we do have our winners already chosen, and I just need to check those files. So that's that. What else have we got? Naturescapes. Obviously, that's the current category. That's open till the end of September. So you've got a couple of weeks left to have a go at that category. And then we're into our final category. Can you believe it? I don't know where this has gone. And it's actually my favorite. I love space is my favorite category.
Space is incredible. I mean, the standard we had, the standard we had last year was absolutely incredible. To get something similar, maybe we can exceed it this year. I mean, it was just so good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And actually, it's inspired. Well, all the categories do, but in particular, space has really inspired some of my own work. Over the last sort of couple of years, seeing a lot of the images that have come in. I mean, it's blown my mind. But anyway, so that's October, and then that's it. We're done. We're done for 2023, and we've got to go through the whole judging process and find out who's gonna lift the overall sort of title at the end of the year, which is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And our latest podcast episode, we might as well just mention that quickly. That's just gone up on the website. I did actually upload the right audio file this time. So Josh and I just talked about our camera systems and why we like using them and that sort of thing. So go and check that out if you haven't already. And if you do want to pop by and say hello at any time during the presentation, then please do comment on the images. I'll try my best to catch up with the comments as we go through the evening. So anyway, Josh, color, again, this is one of my favorite categories because it's such a broad, it's such a broad title, and you can interpret that in many ways, and people have done. But I mean, the standard again was just knockout when you look at the top 100.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And this is one of my favorite categories too. Color's interesting. I mean, in some ways it's close to light, but it's still very, very distinct. And when a lot of people shoot, they'll shoot for good light or they'll shoot for mood or effect. but not necessarily. You hear people and photographers go out and saying, "I'm shooting for color," but it's symptomatic of very unique conditions, and certainly we see that in the top 100, and certainly with the winners. This was a lot of fun to judge this category.
Yeah, exactly. And the first award we're going to do is our Young Award winner. So, Young Award winner, get ready. We're just about to bring you on and have a chat with you. Because, I mean, this is, well, this is, I guess, I would hate to say a sort of classic sort of take on color, but it's, it is all about the color, and it's all about complementary color. So let's share that image with everybody now. So our Young Award winner for color for 2023 is, play the right video, Rob. Max, many congratulations on a fantastic image
Thank
of
you.
Of a yellow wagtail. It's a species that I get close, to home here and see, well, not as regularly as I'd like to, but we were saying off air that I'm totally jealous of this image. So I'm going to pull this up on the screen for everybody to see, nice and big. Josh and I will have a quick chat about it, and then we'll come back to you, and we'll run through how you took it, and the circumstances behind the shot. So, Josh.
Yeah, it's an amazing image. I love yellow wagtails, first off, so props to the subject. And you were talking about the color, complementary color. It's just amazing. The yellow tones in the background on the rapeseed, the bird, they all just match perfectly, and it all just blends together. It's got such a great look to it. And it takes, a bird portrait image very much to the next level just due to the color harmony here. I mean, it's very difficult. I've tried to shoot yellow wagtails in the past. They very rarely stay still. So just getting that shot, but also getting a shot in a condition where you have the yellow tone just encompassing the entire frame is really unique. So special image.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's I just love everything about it. I mean, the composition is right. The bird's looking into that space on the right hand side of the frame. It's not in the center, it's off center. You've got this lovely little sprig of, well, this is rapeseed, flowering. So this will be, I don't know if it's the same time of year in Poland, where I'm assuming this was taken, as it is in the UK, but it's around about sort of April, May time when we get this crop flowering, and it is just the most vibrant yellow. And to get that, so the whole frame is just yellow like that, it's a really special image. And I just love this sort of the subtle tone of the head, where it's just I just love the contrast of that. It makes everything stand out. And I can't eulogize about this enough. Actually, this is one of those images that there are a lot of images tonight that I'm very, very jealous of, and I'm extremely jealous of this, because this is just the sort of image that I would like to take of a yellow wagtail. Because we get those elements, close to the house here.
The exposure techniques are incredible too. I like the shallow depth of field. I mean, what needs to be in focus is in focus. Also, the brightness of the yellows too. I like the fact that it's bright. It hits you when you first look at it. So
and yellow's a really difficult color to expose for, isn't it?
It can be deceiving. It can be just as bright as highlight, your white highlights. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I've seen the original file, and I tell you, it's bang on. It's absolutely bang on. So Max, very many congratulations on an amazing image.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit more about how you planned this image, and how you came across the bird and how you took it. So the circumstances behind the shot.
Okay, so the yellow wagtail on rapeseed field was on my bucket shot list for like 3 years, and this year I finally managed to catch this shot. I'm 16 years old, so I don't have a car yet, and I'm riding on my bike everywhere. I was checking every rapeseed field near me, and after I checked almost all, I got nothing. One day, when I was coming back from search, I was riding past the field closest to my house, and of course I was checking every field, so I stopped and looked around. I was so lucky that I found 2 birds. It was so close to my house that I decided to come back. I left my bike, I took my tripod, and I walked there on foot. It was around 500 meters from my house, which is around 1600 feet. So then I was just standing in the field, camouflaged, and they didn't mind me. They were flying around me all the time and were coming really, really close. I spent the whole day with them. And of course, I came back the next day, but the field was empty. No birds was there. Were.
I tell you, and that's a great example of taking advantage of a situation that you've come across and not waiting and just doing it when it, because as you're saying, go back there the next day and they're not there. So and there you've put in obviously a lot of hard work to get this shot, checking all those fields for, because you presumably you've had this image in your mind for a while. And
Yes.
I think that's extraordinary. I think that's that is how a lot of good photographs are achieved, is just the you have to put in the hard work, and you have to go in and fail and fail and fail again, and then all of a sudden, things will come together and you get the shot. So this is a fantastic image, fantastic image. So a couple of comments. Well, a couple of comments from Bianca Blanc. Actually, you'll remember Bianca, obviously. Josh, he says, "Hi, Rob and Josh. Looking forward to the winners." Or hi, Bianca. Glad you could make it. And she says, "Beautiful picture, Max. Congratulations." So
Thank you.
Here to that. So no, that's an incredible shot. Incredible shot. I'm struggling to think of a better image of a yellow wagtail that I've seen, actually, and that's saying something.
You don't see many images of this species. Yeah.
No, you don't. No, you don't. They're quite difficult. They are quite difficult because you do want that. You do want that. View of them. That you would want to see the whole breast like that, because it's all about that color. So yeah, they're quite tricky. They're quite tricky because you do get them around dung heaps quite a lot, because they feed on the insects, and of course that doesn't make for the prettiest of images. So to wait and get something like this, I think is extraordinary. Yeah. So Una Torgerson, I hope I've pronounced that correctly. I probably haven't, so apologies for that. She says hello from Norway. Well, glad we've got people joining from all over the world. So hello to you, and thanks for tuning in. Max, that's an incredible image, and obviously you'll go through to our final at the end of the year, where we'll choose our overall our young winner, young wild art photographer of the year. So I think that's up there. That is up there. We're going to have a very, very difficult discussion, I think, when we get to that final image. So Max, thank you so much for coming on, because I know that obviously English isn't your first language, and it's I know it can be difficult at times. So thank you for putting yourself through it and coming on and having a chat. Amazing picture. I said I would have loved to have taken this, and in fact I might try. I don't think I'll do anything as good as this, but it's inspired me to get out there and try and do something with the yellow wagtails that I find around my neck of the woods at certain times of the year. So and in fact they should be around about now, actually, on migration. So it's lovely. Couple of other comments coming in. Charles Jansen says, excellent image of the wagtail. Yeah, I agree, Charles, it's fantastic.
Thanks.
And Catherine Holmes says, beautiful, congrats. The yellow background achieved just with it was the yellow background achieved just with the shallow depth of field. I'm assuming that's correct. It's just the flowers of the oilseed rape that are out of focus. Yeah. And what lens have you got on here, Max?
It was Canon's 100 to 400 lens.
Right, and presumably you're at what, 400?
Yeah, 400 and on APS-C body.
Yeah. Fantastic. Antonella Papa says, great image. And Simone Baumeister says, congratulations, wonderful picture. So, congratulations again. Let's stop sharing the screen as good as it is. Let's just bring you back up large. Max, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming on. And I look forward to seeing more of your work, if that's what you keep coming up with. Incredible picture.
Thanks, Max.
So,
appreciate it.
A couple more comments coming in before we go. Ben Pullett says, hello, Rob and Josh. Lovely image, Max. Love the local story as well. Yeah. Ben's a guy that shoots a lot locally, so he knows a lot about shooting locally. And Nisha says, congrats, Max. Beautiful image. So, yeah, lots of love for that picture. Yeah. Max, thanks very much for coming on. It's good to talk. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you again at some point. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much. And keep shooting stuff like that.
I will try. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Congrats again. Okay.
Thanks.
Nice to talk.
Thanks, Max.
What an amazing picture.
Yeah, it is. It's excellent.
Amazing picture. Right. Where
and
are,
it really
where are we
fits
going?
the brief. You can't, when you think of this category, I mean, hits it right on the head.
As does the next picture, actually, because what we're going to do is we are going to go to our Gold Award winner next, because he's sat there waiting for us to talk to him. So let's do that, and then that will be our last interview, I think, of this evening, and then we'll go and we'll go through the other winners and have a chat, about what made them so special. But let's do the Gold Award winner next. So Gold Award winner, we're just about to talk to you. So I will share your beautiful picture. So our Gold Award winner for color for 2023 is talk about pictures I'm jealous of. Oh my word. That's an incredible shot. Hermes, welcome.
Thanks,
Thank you
Rob.
very much for joining.
Thank you so much.
I'll just flick the screen onto your picture and we'll bring that up large for everybody to enjoy. Let me just add that in. Josh, let's have a quick chat about this, and then we'll ask Hermes a little bit more about because we did have a chat before we came on air, and I was keen to sort of save all the story until we got on live. So yeah, Josh, what really, well, I think is obvious what stands out here, but what really stood out for you with this picture?
As soon as you look at this image, it just knocks you right out. It's an amazing image. It's extremely dramatic. I mean, you have the color there, the light to dark, and I've seen a lot of hoopoe images over the years. Nothing ever like this, where you have the line going right down the middle of the body of the bird between the darkness and the light. The two-tone colors, gold and black, you can't go wrong. Obviously, they're complementary. It's an amazing image. It's just drama. When I look at this, it's the first thing that comes to mind. And what a moment to be able to capture this too. This isn't, you're setting up, you're looking, and you're taking a photo. I mean, you need to be ready for something like this, and the timing is critical here. And it just came out perfect. It's an amazing image.
And I tell you what I really like about it as well is that backlighting has separated the bird from that dark background. And if you hadn't have had that, it wouldn't have worked. So all those elements coming together like that, I said, I'm extremely jealous of this. When I saw it, I just, that I think, I would have sold my camera gear if I'd have taken that. I'm gone. That's it. I'm done.
And the angle's just right too, because the angle's coming in a little bit from the side where you have the entire bird lit up, so that the pieces of the hoopoe in front of the dark are illuminated, which separates it. It's awesome.
And the head's slightly turned as well, isn't it? So you've got the beak coming out, and you can see the prey item, and then you can see this, the crest, which is what the bird's all about. So beautifully backlit against the darker background. I think it's just extraordinary. So we're going to have to hear about how you took this, Hermes. So the floor is yours. Let's hear how you went about it.
Yeah. So this particular image was photographed from a place called Al Qudra Lakes. It is in Dubai, and I live in Dubai. So this is a man-made lake, and it's inside the desert. There are around 100 plus lakes that is man-made, and it's a hub for migratory birds as well. We see more than thousands of birds every year, and during the winter season here, a lot of migratory birds come. Even though this photo was not taken during the peak winter, this hoopoe is a resident of this place. for this, talking about this particular shot, I got my Nikon Z8 camera with me. So the first time I got it, I wanted to test something. So I
Wow,
went.
so it's a pretty new picture then.
Yes.
Same with the Z8, yeah.
Yes. So I went with one of my very close friend to this lake. We were searching for something to shoot because there were no much birds that time. So this we saw this hoopoe flying with the food. So that day it was a bit late in the morning. We got some beautiful shots in the light with beautiful light and all. It was not a backlight because we were late. So then second day also we tried some backlighting because the light was good from behind. So we started going there before sunrise and we set everything. We sat there waiting for the hoopoe to come. We got some shots. Then when I was going through the pictures, I saw the possibility of such a shot. The next day we went. It was fully planned. Got 400 mm f2.8. The ISO was kept 320, and I put a shutter speed of 3200 to get the hoopoe sharp. And the everything, all the settings were perfect. We were waiting. Then after taking like almost thousands of shots, this is the end product that I got.
Yeah, it's
I would
amazing.
say the Z8 passes the focus test.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because that's tricky.
It was pretty dark.
Yeah, that's tricky. Apologies if you can hear Sky barking in the background, by the way. She's she's bored. Yeah, there she goes. Well, I said the Z8, crikey, that's I know how the Z9 performs. I mean, they're pretty similar. I mean, the Z8's a time without the built-in grip, but that is an amazing shot. That is an amazing shot.
Thank you so much.
I mean, Josh and I have seen a lot of pictures of birds, but
this is very unique. It's like
it is.
It's like a
feat.
Thank you so much.
And I think that is the thing. I've said this so many times before, but that's the thing about competition photography in particular, is that if you want to do well, then it's coming up with an image that just hasn't been seen before. And I can't think of ever seeing something like this. And I tell you, I don't think who has seen it, because obviously we do the judging in small groups as we go throughout the year. But I know that Andy Rouse will really appreciate this because it's just right up his street, So
yeah.
Right up his street, because he will appreciate it. Right, a few comments coming in for this one, that is for sure. Ronald says, wow, incredible shot. Charles, again, I am so jealous. Yeah, me too, Charles. I love hoopoes, and this is an incredible capture. Nisha says, congrats. Benjamin Reese says, this is unbelievable. The contrast is incredible. And Una says, wow, congrats. Simone, again, deserved winner, an exceptional photo. Bianca says, wow, amazing picture, congrats. And Charles again says, fun to hear the story behind this shot. And Deepa Girish says, congratulations, well deserved. And Michael's on. Michael Snedek. Hello, Michael. Hi from Brisbane, Queensland, guys. Stunning image. I love it. Well, Michael, will be lining up next weekend, won't we, to do Tiny. So, looking forward to that. And Antonella says, amazing shot. Everything is perfect. Light, position. The image could win a lot of contests. Congratulations. I think probably right, actually. I think this is an exceptional picture.
I'm happy because this is the first time I'm participating in this contest, and this is the first image that I submitted in a contest like this.
You're off to a good start.
Yeah, you only need one. Although obviously from a competition organizer's point of view, we need lots, because that's what makes it work. But no, you only need one shot like this, and it's doing something different and showing people something that hasn't been seen before. But it's not only that, it's getting the technical side of it correct too. That's also very important, and this image does that. So it was always going to do well. As soon as I saw this in the selection that came through, I pick out pictures that I just know the judges are going to like, and most of the time I'm correct, and I knew this would do well. So it was no surprise to me when we were talking about it, in the final selection. That's for sure. So
it's art. I mean, this could be Not only in somebody who's an animal enthusiast would appreciate this, anyone, you could print this out and put it on a wall. I mean, it's art. It really
Yeah.
is. It goes
Yeah.
beyond just a bird photo.
And that's what the competition is all about, as people know. It's about art. If you're going to provide a standard portrait shot, yes, it'll be appreciated, but that's not where this competition is going. It's to promote images like this that are doing something different. As Josh was saying, this is art at its best. So thank you so much for entering it and for sharing that and for sharing the story behind it. I think it's a very well deserved winner from a category that the standard of which was very, very high. So it was very competitive. So to win a category like color, you need something special, and that's what you've done.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Michael Snake saying the key message here: the image is different and unique, rather than copying what has won in the past. And I think that's another thing that we talked about, didn't we, Josh, in the podcast that we did about photography competitions. It's no good copying what's gone on before. You have to do something unique, and this is something unique. I said, and that's what makes it stand out to the judges, and that's what you need to do.
And it's difficult to do that because there's so many photographers out there. We have, years and years and years of contests being around. So it's more and more difficult to come up with this. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I'm going to stop sharing the screen and I'm going to bring you up, Lars. Hermes, thank you so much for coming on and having a chat and sharing that story with everybody. I hope that's proved really inspirational to everybody that's watching this.
Thank you so much, Rob and Josh. It was great.
Well deserved. Good luck with the Z8.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me how you get on with it, because
it's amazing. Like I liked it almost equal to Z9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I met up with Georgina at Heathrow Airport a couple of months ago. She was part of Nikon's team testing the Z8 in Australia, and she was telling me how amazing it was. And so, you're in good company there, that's for sure, as far as birds are concerned.
Yes.
Miss, thank you very much. Good to talk to you. And if you keep on shooting stuff like that, we will be talking again, I'm sure.
Definitely. I'll try my best.
Brilliant. Okay. Lovely to talk. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Speak to you soon.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's an amazing shot. Like you said, it's unique. I mean, how many shots have we looked at of hoopoes over the years? Not even just discount the species, just in general in bird photography. It's very unique.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of those species. I guess they're like bee eaters and kingfishers and that sort of thing. They're quite and puffins, of course.
Yeah.
Visually they're very sort of appealing, and I think that's what draws people in to photograph them. And at times they can be quite easy to photograph, particularly when they're nesting. So I think that's what that's what draws people to and the behavior is quite good as well, isn't it? With with catching the insects and this sort of thing, and the crest.
Probably much more difficult to shoot than a lot of the nesting behavior shots, because a lot of those you can pre-focus on the cavity, and the birds come in and out. But this bird's flying up, right? So it's
get it in that lighting situation as well. Oh man.
Yeah.
Michael says, "Go Nikon Z users." Yeah. Well, we talked about that in the podcast. I won't go on.
And we both agreed Canon was the superior brand, correct, Rob?
I'm only kidding. Remind me if I don't think so. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's what you're comfortable with that matters. So, right, let us move on. And where are we now? Where are we going to go to now? Well, I tell you what. Let's sort of try and go in reverse order now, then, and do the silver award. So let's because this is an intriguing picture that we should talk a bit about. So let's do that next. Right. So our silver award winner for color is. Now, I know Simone's watching, so I'm sure she'll be putting some comments in the live chat.
Simone.
Let me, yeah, hi Simone. That is a top shot. Let me bring that up on the screen because this has got an interesting story behind it. So I remember when we looked at this shot, when we were choosing the winners, we were talking about how this was taken, and there was sort of speculation on, you know, the lens coming off the camera in some way, shape, or form to allow that light to come in like that, which is what's happened. And I will read what Simone's sent to me. But Josh, that aside, let's just talk about, you know, the sort of image and what made it stand out to us. So what sort of really grabbed you about it first?
So, I'll move on from where we were just talking on the Gold Award winner, uniqueness. You do not see images like this, right? I mean, just in terms of, and this is a shot where you look at and you're like, wow, this is gorgeous. And the next thing you think of is what exactly is going on here? It really brings you in, right? Because it's intriguing and it's different. Obviously, the colors through the roof on this. You get the bright pink tones, the magentas and the pastels and the greens, and they all look great. But even beyond that, just the inventiveness of this shot, how unique it is, and to come up with it, it's beautifully composed. Going from the top right corner of the frame to the lower left as your eye goes through it, it's an amazing shot. It's artistic, it's got color, it meets the brief, it tells a story. And really, I think there's a bit of a mystery with this shot too, because the viewer, will think, okay, how was this done? And I think it makes it special.
Yeah. And what I like about it is that shaft of light. It looks like a sort of theater spotlight to me.
Mm.
That's what it looks like. It almost looks like you're looking in cross section through the spotlight itself, with that sort of with that curve of light in the middle, looking like a lens, which I guess it fundamentally is. Because let me just read you. I'll have to put my glasses on for this. I'll just read you the email that Simone sent me just out of, hang on, there we go. Right. So she says, the photo of the anemone was taken without a lens on the camera, which is interesting in itself. So I unscrewed the 35mm lens and held it diagonally in front of the bayonet at a small distance. The sunlight fell onto the narrow gap between the camera bayonet and the lens mount. These reflections then fall onto the sensor and always produce new effects depending on the angle at which the sun falls or how you turn the lens. Man, would you ever have thought of doing that?
No.
No, me neither. And this is what we come back to when we talk about, as you mentioned right at the start, the uniqueness of things.
Yeah.
And when it comes to competition photography, it's just thinking outside the box, or outside the lens in this case.
I've never seen anything like this.
No, I've not. And we did kind of get there, didn't we? In the meeting, we thought, no, this has got to be lens off the camera or something like that is going on.
Yeah.
I think it was Vic that was sort of talking about it, and saying that kind of seen this sort of thing done a couple of times, but not this well. And I think the other thing about it is just, it's not only the effect of what's gone on with the lens off the camera, it's the overall exposure of it, the underexposure, so the background is dark, the spotlight is on the flower itself, and the effect that those sort of lens flares effectively is what they are have created. I just think this is stunning. I mean, you'd have looked at that on the back of the camera and just done backflips, I think.
Absolutely. So, and even whether it's a lens or not a lens, even, outside of the literal components or the technical components of the image, the image itself, just, I mean, it's stunning,
Yeah. And to get something that sharp as well with the lens off the camera. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's I'm sure we have
I think
got some
Simone, she can make a YouTube tutorial on this. I would watch it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So she's saying hello, and Charles Jansen is saying, so intriguing. Bianca says, congrats, Simone. Very creative picture. Love your work. Many thanks to the jury for congratulations from Simone. And Una says, Simone is a master. Love this picture. Strange and beautiful and unique. I think, Simone showed this last year, didn't she? She was our our portfolio winner from last year. And I think the sort of depth of her knowledge and her and the skill set that she's got, she's a pretty unique photographer. Always coming with something new. Always looking at things in different ways. And I think that's great. She says that the range of sharpness is minimal if you just hold the lens in front of the camera. Yeah. It's I'm going to try this. It won't come out anywhere near as good as this, but how intriguing.
It's wild.
And this is what I love photography for, when people just do things like break the rules. Break the rules and try something different. Simone says, I would love to be in on the chat, but without a translation machine, I can't speak a word of English. So she apologizes. Simone, you've no need to apologize. This is all about, I never, ever want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. It's absolutely fine. These things are here to celebrate your work, and come on and chat or make comments in the live chat is absolutely fine. We appreciate your work, and that's why we're eulogizing about it, because it is so unique. It's fantastic stuff. So, and there might be more to come. So should we move on? Should we move on and share the next image? This is top stuff. If you want to know how to do well in photography competitions, take a leaf out of Simone's book. Honestly,
and she's so versatile too. A lot of photographers will just focus in on flowers or bird. She covers the whole gambit. It's really, really amazing. Of course, as you mentioned, Rob, she was the portfolio winner last year. The variety in there too.
Exactly, and that's what people are, certainly this competition is looking for. For that portfolio at that time was the sort of broad spectrum of work and the different skills on show. So that collection of pictures certainly showed that. Right, let me go to while we're talking about Simone, I'm going to share our Bronze Award winner. So our Bronze Award winner for color is done it again.
Again, how many tight macro frog shots have I seen over the years and taken? Very unique. I mean, the use of color on each side of the face, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And and as I said, the judging is all done anonymously, so not even I have any idea who's taken these pictures. We choose what we think deserves to win before we know who's taken them. And I think, I'm with you, Josh. I think, this, when I saw it, and I've seen a lot of frogs and toads, and this is a common toad, over the years. And I work a lot with toads because everybody knows I do toad patrol in the village. And so, I have seen a gazillion toads over the last few years. So it's a species that's very familiar to me. And I've photographed them on the road at night with car headlights and this, that, and lots of things going on, tail lights disappearing in the distance, but those sorts of things. But I've never thought of doing this, which is on one side is the tail lights of Simone's car, on the other side is a torch. So that's why you've got the split tones, the warm and the cool on the other side, which I think is a really clever take on a subject which is photographed quite a lot. But it just goes to show it doesn't have to be an exotic species. It can be something that's common and photographed a lot. It's just done in a different way, and it's just all about the art. And this for me is very artistic, and I love the shallow depth of field as well with it.
Yeah, It's one thing to see the tail light and, you get those reddish tones, but, to put the torch and then to go half and half, that takes it to the next level. I mean, the image itself, even just with the tail light, would be great, but adding those cooler tones on the other side of the other side of the toad splitting in half, I mean, it takes it to another level. It really
Yeah.
does.
And here's the thing, it's all about fitting the right picture to the right category as well. And this is about color. This is about those tonal differences between either half of the frame, and that's where the color comes in. And I think if you are going to look at, entering a competition, you do it regularly, think very, very hard about, the category title and what is actually being, what the judges are looking for. And I think this sort of says, this talks to the category very, very well. It fits the brief.
Yeah. I just
Extremely well.
realized too, Rob, I'm looking at this. This is our second split tone image. We of course have the hoop we were just talking
Yeah.
about before. Yeah. No, it works.
Yeah.
It's a great technique. It works well.
Exactly. No, that's a fantastic picture. So let's catch up with comments because they're coming in. Right, Simone's saying thanks to you all. Nisha says that's amazing. Congrats, Simone. Simone, I took this photo when I was carrying toads across the road to the lake during amphibian migration. It's always good to have a camera with you. Well, Simone, I do exactly the same in the village here. And I, and a lot of the other people in the village as well, that, we go out generally from the end of January through to about the beginning of April. We're out on mild nights, particularly when it's mild and wet, and we're saving these things from being run over because, the death toll was hideous before we started doing it. So well done to you for doing the same where you are. They need every help we can give them. I mean, in the UK, I forget the percentage now, but it's something like, since the 1980s, I think we've lost something like 80% of the toad population in the UK. And it's not just down to roadkill. There are many, many other factors. It's really habitat loss, which is the main problem. But add factors in like roadkill. You just need to do everything you can to help these things. So no, it's great to hear you're doing that. And I wondered whether that might be the case, bearing in mind you're working with taillights from the car. And so she says, when the main migration time was over that evening, I photographed the last toads before carrying them to the lake. Yeah, I've done similar things, as I was saying, with cars sort of disappearing in the distance, with a slower shutter speed to get those sort of light trails and that sort of thing, with a toad in a torchlight in front of me. And I made a film on it a while ago. So yeah, I've messed around with those sorts of things, but I've not seen this approach where you've got that split tone, which is the really clever bit. So yeah, congratulations on a fab image.
Amazing.
Yeah. Right. Let us, where are we now? Where are we going now? We are going to get the right video lined up. My Founders Choice Award. I mean, this category was just full of so many amazing pictures. So this was tough, but this is my Founders Choice for color. Do you know, I've just noticed another commonality between a lot of these shots. It's symmetry.
Yeah, you're right.
Symmetry. And I think that's a big part of this particular picture, which I will just add in so everybody can see it again. I think it is that central line, and then the lines of, this is the carapace, the wing covers of a beetle. And it's those lines, it's that sort of strong central line dividing the frame equally in two halves. And then it's the lines running down, and then those sort of subtle tones and the water droplets, of course, make it, adds that extra bit of interest. You wonder, I mean, for somebody like me, I know instantly what I'm looking at, but it does take a bit of time perhaps for your brain to kick in. And so it's asking a question of the viewer, this image, and that's why I like it. But I think the main thing for me is the symmetry of it. I think that that can work so beautifully well, if it's done deliberately like this. And I'm not generally a fan of square crops or squarish crops, but this works really well with a square crop, which
Yeah,
is saying something.
The symmetry is awesome here, Rob, and it's very pleasing to the eye. The colors are great. It's kind of a rainbow, effect, if you will. You got the greens, reds, yellows,
Yeah.
and to your point too. I like the crop. I like how he worked the edges. I like where the frame, you have that center, that strong line going through, and how things kind of fall off. Also, when you're like so tight, depth of field is so important. You can choose to either go shallow and only have a small amount of the frame in focus, or have everything in focus. And I think for something like this, it's critical to have focus across the entire composition, and he was able to achieve that very nicely.
Yeah.
Very nicely.
No, it's a very, very pleasing image, and again was one that, well, I certainly picked out when I was going through, the selection, and I thought this would do well, in the judges meeting, and it certainly did. I think that the spectrum of things that we've had, in the category it's so pleasing to see such a broad range of stuff, from, I know we've had a couple of birds, for example, but to have this, and all the other shots, that the toad, and and the wood anemone, so to have flowers, invertebrates, birds. It's really nice to see such a broad range of stuff, and so many different takes on these sort of broad category themes, which is why I do like to not hone them in too tight, because then I think leaving room for people's interpretation of a category title makes it very interesting for the judges. When you've got something as broad as color, then you get all sorts of things, such as this, which I think is extraordinary. So very well done, Vit. He was trying to make it tonight, but I know he's out in the field, and would have had to have joined from a mobile phone, and the signal, he was saying, was a bit weak. So it's a shame we couldn't talk to him, but he's out probably taking loads of really nice pictures. So hopefully more competition entries as well. I've got a little spider which is just coming down my microphone stand. Let's make sure he doesn't. I had a when we were doing the podcast the other night, what did I have? A shield bug walking across the top of my screen.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember you mentioning that. Yeah.
Anyway, he's safe now. I'm not going to squash him. So let's catch up with some comments. Right, where are we? Right, so Ronald says, congrats, Simone. Incredible work again. And Simone saying thank you. Charles Jansen says, beautifully executed, stunning. Rachel Piper says, hi everyone, sorry I'm late. Hi Rachel, nice to have you here. Good, glad you managed to make it. And you can always catch up with what we've been through earlier in the evening on the recording, of course, because there's been some amazing stuff, and some images that I'm sure you'll appreciate, and this being one of them. Actually, I'm sure Rachel will appreciate this. Being a square crop, Rachel, you'll like this picture. Good fan of a square crop, Rachel. Right. So that's my founder's choice. Well done, Vit. Shame we couldn't chat, but I'm sure we'll get the opportunity at some point in the future to talk to you. Right. So let's just remove that. So we're down to the highly commended and commended images. So let's run through those. I've got videos for those as usual. So let me just line those up, and then we'll come back to the comments and catch up with all those, and then wrap things up. But okay, so our highly commended images for color, and I know there are a few people that are on and watching who've commented who are in this list. So our highly commended images for color are when we talked about diversity, I think that selection just kind of illustrates that, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That sort of different use of color in all those images, the different subject matter. This
It,
is
it
just
just
the best job in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it just goes to show really how tough our jobs are when it comes to picking the winners. I mean, the standard of imagery when you look at this category, I mean, it's through the roof. There's so many incredible images out there, and it's very difficult, frankly, to pick the winners out of such a strong crop of photos.
Yeah, and I'm always really keen to make sure that the choices are the strongest that we have in the competition. So if you've made the top 100, you thoroughly deserve to make the top 100 because the competition is tough. And there's no free lunch with wild art. That is for sure. If you're there, you've earned it. Because as I said, as you were saying, the standard, in this category, I would say in particular is one of the more popular ones because of I think the title is quite straightforward. Then if you've made that list, you've made the top 100 and you've made a highly commended or commended, which we'll come on to, you give yourself a big pat on the back because that's, better than I could do. That is for sure. That is for sure. Oh dear. Right. So well done to everybody who's
Yep.
on that highly commended list. It's a shame we can't bring everybody on and talk to them about those pictures, but we'd be here until Christmas, unfortunately. It'd be really nice to do that. Right. Okay. Well, let's go on and show you our commended images. So let me line that video up. So commended images for color are again such a diverse range of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Just incredible images. They really are. I would have loved to take in any of them, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I'd say, but the thing about this competition, I think, is it just for me, I find it so inspiring when I see these things. The new ideas that come across, the different takes on familiar subjects, on things we've seen photographed, again and again and again, and just the clever way, people's minds think about, the subjects that we've seen a lot, but it's just they're taken in a different way, and the technical quality of the people that are producing this work. I mean, some of it is flawless.
Yeah,
absolutely flawless. And that's another thing I would say, actually, if you are serious about competition photography, you have to make sure that your images are as perfect as you can make them.
Yeah, what's cool about this category too, color, I mean, it leaves room for interpretation. And there's so many different ways to interpret this category in a positive way. I mean, when you just, look at the images that we just went through, I mean, there's, you had a dark snake with red eyes, you have a brightly colored hummingbird. So it's a huge amount of variability when it comes to interpreting this category and what you can do to create for it. And you see that in the images.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was a joy to go through those. So thank you to everybody who entered that category. And if you didn't make the top 100, you really shouldn't be discouraged, because it's tough. It's tough. The standard that we're getting is, I think, the way to look at it is just look at it on the basis that it's inspiring, and it's like anything in life, isn't it? If you play sport, you want to play with better players to improve your own game. And I think, that's the way to look at it. If, perhaps you've been entering and not getting to the top 100, just be inspired by what you're seeing, because it's, the standard is pretty hot. It's pretty hot. So, and I've got a few things coming for next year, which I'm working on actually, not necessarily competition related, but to try and, deal with that element of things. I think, try and inspire people a little more, because that's, to me, that's what the competition is all about. Is about inspiring people's love of photography, and just to take them on a journey. It's not just about winning competitions for me. It's about, giving something to the community, I think, and giving something to the individuals that take part. And as I said, just try and inspire their own work. That's a big part of it. So anyway, I hope that a lot of those images that everybody's seen tonight have done that. So let's just catch up with a few comments coming in. So Molly Holman says, thank you so much, judges. So many stunning images there. Absolutely, Molly. And that was a lovely image of yours, of course. Charles Jansen says some amazing images there. And that's the thing, isn't it? When you look at Charles's image of the bear with the sort of pastel tones, and then you look at Molly's image with the sort of bright reds and that, there's so many sort of different things, going on there. There's so many different interpretations. So that's that's what the competition is all about. So Charles also says it's an honor to be in this wonderful group. Well, it's an honor to have seen your picture, Charles. So thank you very much for entering. So Josh, thank you very much.
Sure.
For coming on and helping out and sharing, all the lovely images with everybody, and chatting to our winners and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom.
Yeah,
it's
my
always
pleasure.
much appreciated.
Yeah, it's always fun, especially when you get to do it with incredible images. So there's
and talk to some amazing people as well.
Inspiring. It really is.
From all around the world, which is always fun to do. So no, it's been great. And as I said, if you haven't heard enough of Josh and me, then go and check out the latest podcast. Or I think we've done 14 episodes now.
Yeah, we're moving along at a good clip, and we get both Rob and myself. We get incredible feedback from folks. So if anybody has any ideas for topics, please feel free to reach out to us. Some of our shows we've taken from suggested topics.
Yeah, we have. I mean, I've got a whole list of things that we're going to cover. I know we've got a couple of. Well, I've got 3 or 4 guests we're trying to line up at the moment. So, we'll do a few more of those sorts of things. So, I know we've been trying to get Rebecca on and talk about Shetland, because that would be a lot of fun. And we've got maybe a chat on making money from wildlife photography coming up. That's sort of in the pipeline. Lots of other little topics. So if you've got anything you want for us to sort of chat about, then do let us know. And if you haven't listened to the podcast, I'm going to give it a shameless plug here. Then go and check it out. You'll find it on Spotify, on Google, on Amazon, and on the website as well. If you go to the community tab,
Apple as well. It's on Apple's.
I forgot about Apple. So if you go to the community tab, and there's a little drop down thing there that says podcast, but you'll find it on all those things. And if you enjoy it, then please give us a rating and a comment, because that does help. So anyway, shameless plug over. Sorry about that, but I'm not sorry about that at all, because hopefully people are enjoying that. So thanks again, Josh. Great to see you, and thanks for all the input. Thank you everybody for watching and helping us sort of celebrate some amazing photography. I think you'll agree. Don't forget that Naturescapes, that's a new category for this year. So that's all about the environment in which we find our incredible species and nature, and put your own interpretation on the category title. Go and have a look at the website and see the description on there. So that's open until the end of September, so a couple of weeks left on that. And then, as I said, we're into space, which is the last category for 2023, and another one of my favorites. So I think everybody's enjoyed entering that one in the past. So there's some good takes on space as well. So make sure you don't miss that one. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what people are coming up with for that one. Go and have a look at the Tiny Top 100 as that's out, and don't forget that I will be speaking with to Michael and presenting that, presenting those awards next weekend, next Sunday at lunchtime. So I'll let everybody know that an exact time in a day or so, and we'll get that lined up. So that's coming on Sunday, this coming Sunday. So I will see you all in a week's time. So thank you everybody for watching, and I'll line up the outro before I go any further. Let me just see if there are any final comments coming in. No, I think we're done. So let's wrap it up with the outro. So thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to enter those last two categories, and I will see you next weekend.